so it's been a long time since I've done a video recording on this platform, but I just found that this particular topic was pretty interesting. I wanted to share it with you, and so feel free to give me your feedback. And if you like and appreciate the content, then go ahead and like, subscribe, and share with someone else that you think could benefit from the information. If you have comments, please feel free to leave them in the you leave your comments. I'll leave that open. Try and be respectful, of course. But the reason why I'm particularly doing this is because I think that we as Americans don't do enough critical thinking, asking critical questions, and a lot of us are just dumbed down and accept whatever is given to us without questioning it first. And I think that's a way, to definitely lose our freedoms, and actually not to even know what's happening. Okay, so the particular topic today was regarding the SS5 form with the Social Security application. Excuse me. So in going over it, I noticed some interesting things about it. Let's see if I can pull it up here, the SS5 form. And the thing that I found interesting, the particular section of the form, was the evidence of identity. If I can pull it up here, I can get going. The application. All right, so evidence of identity. Now I've heard, because I've been listening to several channels, and I've heard lots of debate or presumptions, if you will, of the straw man or the fictitious name, the all caps name, in that somehow or some ways subjects you to a loss of status. So I've heard that argument, and maybe after you hear a little bit of this, you could possibly be persuaded one way or the other. But that's not really my goal. My goal is just to present information, and you can disseminate it and see how it applies to your life, because that's what I do. My mom always said to eat the bones and eat the fish and throw the bones away. So you got to kind of pick through things. I wouldn't always make an occasion to argue about things, because we really should be students. We should be constantly learning. That's what I believe. But anyways, evidence of identity. This is the SS5, again, the SS5 form for the Social Security application. This particular section says you must provide current, unexpired evidence of identity in your legal name, okay? In your legal name. This is the application again, the SS5 form, and it's to attain a Social Security card. So I thought that was interesting, the way that they worded it. And obviously lawyers and legal counsel are the ones that generate these forms. I doubt if it's Mr. or Mrs. Social Security agent that's actually creating these forms, because there's a lot of legalities and things like that. So I would lean more towards it being a lawyer or attorney. All right, so in order to be eligible for this card, you have to provide evidence of identity in your legal name. That's the way that they worded it. So your legal name, it goes on to say, will be shown on the Social Security card. Okay? And that's again the SS5 form for application for Social Security card. So I did a little bit more digging, because when the red flag goes up, I do digging. That's what we should do. Ask those critical questions. So the legal name was attained upon being born. Now that I do believe. I mean, obviously, where does your legal name come from? And why do they perhaps differentiate between a legal name and maybe the name, a Christian name or a given name? Why do they differentiate between the two? Why are they requesting that the proof, the evidence be in your legal name. Okay, so obviously I put here that the Social Security Administration does not have your legal name. Otherwise they wouldn't, or have priority or proprietary ownership or whatever in that legal name. Otherwise they wouldn't be asking you to bring proof of identity in that legal name. So they're asking you to go do the homework. So that legal name was attained somewhere, and I contend that it was attained via the birth certificate. And I know you've probably heard a lot of things on these platforms about the birth certificate, about them being on bond paper and all that kind of thing. I'm not really gonna, try and persuade you either way. I'm just putting this information here right from this document, and I did a little digging. I used the Black's Law Dictionary, so it is the dictionary, official dictionary of the legal profession. In most cases, judges use it and everything. So getting back, so the legal name was attained, I believe, upon being born with his birth certificate. Also, the mother or father, most times the mother, signed the birth certificate. Okay, they filed it with the vital statistics in your county, and then a new stylized legal name, and it is all capital letters. I mean, look at it, you'll see it for yourself. So that's really not conspiracy theory or anything. I mean, look at it yourself and you'll see that on your birth certificate it is in all capital letters, right? So I did some digging, and I found out about the capitis diminutio maximus, which is a maximum loss of status in the stylized all capital way of capturing your name or putting your name out there, all capitals. I noticed also that corporations, their corporation names are all in capital. If you look at some of the records with the state, okay, and look up some of the corporations and look how they're stylized. Okay, look at tombstones. Tombstones, the names are all written in all capital letters. Okay, okay. So moving on. Before the SSA, the Social Security Administration, grants the card, the Social Security card, they want proof, again, of identity in the legal name. I'm going to keep stressing that because I'm going to touch on that and hopefully make a good presentation of where I'm going with this. Okay, so my summary of everything that was just read. Okay, so they're asking you to provide proof that you, the person, subject, or article, are the very same that is alleged, charged, or reputed to be in the distinct classification, that'd be the name, that's a distinct classification, you have become known by the name, which was constructed with or without your knowledge for the act of collections. Now I'm going to qualify why I added all that in there. When you see that I've actually taken the time to look at etymology and the definition of words, and I've pitted them against the Black's Law Dictionary. Okay, so I'll get to that. Just give me a moment here. Trust me, I'm going somewhere good. So the Social Security Administration didn't create or already have the legal name. We've already stressed that, right? Because they're asking you for it, for proof of identity in it. All right, it already existed, and they want you to bring it to them. They want you to authenticate, all right, that identity in the legal name. I contend that what they're trying to do is to merger the man, okay, through your signature, your sign nature, your nature sign, if you will, playing games with words. I contend that they're trying to merge the man through the signature, like contract law, with the fiction or the corporation. All right? So let's qualify that. So note this. They aren't asking you to just provide proof of identity. That's not what the question, that's not what the requirement is. They're saying they want proof that the applicant, you, okay, the man or woman, is they want proof that the applicant is the very same as the legal name. or corporate fiction, corporation, all right? The Office of the Law Revision Council, they have a site, and there they list like the positive laws and the non-positive law titles, okay? So going on, Title 42, the public health and welfare, that's what Title 42 is. The public health and welfare is a non-positive law title. This is, I'm quoting right from the Office of the Law Revision Council site. Title 42 is comprised of many individually enacted federal statutes, such as the Public Health Service Act and the Social Security Act, that have been editorially compiled and organized into the title, okay? But the title itself has not been enacted. All right, follow? Non-positive law titles. Here, now, it's already established that Title 42 is not enacted into positive law. So what is a non-positive law title? Here it is. Non-positive law titles are prima facie evidence of the law. Okay? I'll explain what prima facie is in a minute. It says 1 USC section 204, and are presumed to be law, but are rebuttable by production of prior unrepealed acts of Congress at variance with the U.S. Code. But positive law titles constitute legal evidence of the law in all federal and state courts. Okay, so there's a differentiation there. All right, so prima facie evidence. Prima facie evidence is basically rebuttable presumptions, okay? In other words, it stands as law until someone refutes it or rebuts it, okay? We'll get more into that. Moving on. Having on one hand non-positive law titles as prima facie evidence of the law, and on the other hand positive law titles as legal evidence of the law, means that both types of titles contain statutory text that can be presented to federal or state court as evidence of the wording of the law. The difference between prima facie, there it is again, and legal is a matter of authoritativeness. So prima facie evidence lacks authority. That's what it just said. The difference between prima facie and legal is a matter of authoritativeness. Okay, so check it out. What is authority? This is what prima facie law titles or law or prima facie evidence lacks authority. What is authority? Permission, right to exercise powers, to implement and enforce laws, to exact obedience, to command, to judge, the power delegated by a principal to an agent. So prima facie lacks that authority. It doesn't have a right to exercise power. Okay, so Title 42, okay, is a non-positive code, okay, or a law title. So therefore, it's prima facie, and it lacks the right to exercise powers or to implement and enforce laws. That is, as it's stated here, that includes the Social Security Act and the Public Health Service Act. Those are Title 42. All right, moving on. You do with that what you will. All right, so the very meaning of prima facie is that the code cannot prevail over the statutes at large when the two are inconsistent. That's Stephan versus United States, 1943. Congress has not enacted Title 42 into positive law. We already established that. When there is such a conflict, the version in the statutes at large, i.e. the one which appears at, and it gives some statutes here. I don't need to go into that, but it says see American Bank and Trust Company versus Dallas County. That's 1983 case law. Moving on. Okay, so I wanted to keep this relatively short. I got about 4 minutes left on this tape, so I'll make sure that I pop another one and there'll be a part 2. But you got to stay tuned. So so the federal child support enactments by the Congress, I'm using this for an example because the federal child support enactment is under the Social Security Act. All right. So the federal child support enactments, so it's under Title 42. Okay, so the federal child support enactments by the Congress, all right, it's Public Law 81-734, the Social Security Act amendments of 1950, okay, which added sections 402A and 11 to the Social Security Act. 42 USC 602A11 are public laws, not laws governing people, but laws governing states and the public. Okay, so, and then I go into explaining what public law is, because public law is not law for the individual or private man or woman. Public law has to do with the state, the people who, the public officers, I mean, and how they are to act in relation to the private. That's what public law is. And here's the definition. All right, a general classification of law consisting generally of constitutional, administrative, criminal, and international law concerned with, listen, the organization of the state, small s, state, the relations between the state and the people who compose it. See, the people composes the state, all right? The responsibilities of public officers to the state, to each other, and to private persons, all right? And the relations of states to one another. All right. It also says that public law is that branch or department of law which is concerned with the state in its political or sovereign capacity. See? Including constitutional and administrative law, and with the definition, regulation, and enforcement of rights in cases where the state is regarded as the subject of the right or object of the duty. All right. So that clearly, and I could keep reading here and keep outlining and keep accenting the fact that public law has nothing to do with the people. It's the law that governs the state and the public officers and the state's relation to the private people. Okay, so kind of got off track there, but it's still relevant because the federal child support enactment, okay, they say is law, like child support law. It is law, but it's public law, all right? And that falls under the Social Security Act, which, as we learned, is under Title 42, and that is actually non-positive law. And since it's non-positive law, it's considered prima facie evidence, or prima facie. Okay? And therefore, since it's prima facie, it does not have permission or the right to exercise powers or to implement or enforce laws. So public law is a general classification of law consisting generally of constitutional, administrative, criminal, and international law concerned with the organization of the state. All right, so we're going to move on here. So let's get back on track. Hopefully you're able to watch part 2 in series. If not, you'll kind of have to look around for it, because I don't want to take too much time rehashing everything that was said. So maybe we can make this one whole stream. We'll see. But anyways, back on track. All right, so then it says, the Social Security application, your legal name will be shown on the Social Security card. All right, so it'll be confirmed, is basically what that's meaning, because they said that they want you to provide proof of identity, all right, in the legal name, and then that legal name will be put on the card. So first you do this, and then we'll put it on the card, because then it'll be bona fide, it'll be confirmed and affirmed. All right, so whatever name that is on that card, you can guarantee that this is what they constitute the legal name. All right, and they want proof that you are the very same as is alleged in that name. So they want you to go do the work, all right, find the evidence of your identity in the legal name, and once you do that, okay, now the Social Security Administration can attach the legal name right to that SS card, that Social Security card. You see how that works? And now they have the Social Security card with your legal name on it. And now they will assign a number to that legal name, kind of like a UPC code, a barcode, if you will. You know, like products, commerce, things you go buy in a store. Everything has a barcode on it. Okay? Think about it. Basically, stick a fork in it, it's all done. Okay? They have what they need. All right. So, moving on. Let's look at legal name. All right. So, I did the etymology on the word legal name because it's important to understand the concept and break it down so that you get a full understanding. We need to start getting back to doing that. All right, so when I broke it down, the etymology, two parts to the word. Leg, all right, would be the root, and al would be the suffix, or leg-al, okay, legal. All right, so the leg portion of the word in the etymology comes from collections, all right? Collections. And the al at the end of the word, the suffix, means the act of, okay? So, yeah, I know, we'll get to that in a minute, but check it out. So now I looked at the definition, not the etymology now, the definition of legal in the Black's Law Dictionary. And this is what it said. Presumed, there's that word again. Prima facie evidence, all right, by the courts as the inference or imputation of the law as a matter of construction rather than established by actual proof. I will reiterate that, I'll reread that, but I just want to go back to the beginning of the recording on part 1 where I said we would be getting to this because I had added some other things in one of the paragraphs regarding a matter of construction, something that's put together, you know, construction, like building blocks, construction. And we talked about prima facie evidence, what that means. Okay, but I'm going to reread this now. Look at the definition of legal, all right? Presumed by the courts as the inference or imputation of the law as a matter of construction. That's key. Somebody constructed it. It was put together, okay, rather than established by actual proof. So it was not established by actual proof, all right, but by a presumption and a constructed construction, a presumptive construction, all right? Moving on. I'll let you chew on that. So what is presumption? What is a presumption? We've already discussed this in part 1, but I'll go over it again. A presumption is a rule of law, statutory or judicial, by which finding of a basic fact gives rise to existence of presumed fact until presumption is rebutted. All right. So a presumption is a rule of law, statutory or judicial, by which finding of a basic fact gives rise to existence of presumed fact until the presumption is rebutted. All right. So basically, just because something has the appearance of being what is claimed or alleged, we'll rely on that until somebody comes along and disproves it. That's what a presumption is. All right. So that's what the definition of legal is. That's what happened. It was contrived. It was constructed. All right. Not based on proof, but kind of an inference. There you go. All right. So that's legal, and that's presumption. Now we're trying to establish what a legal name is, right? So you have the legal part. You have to go back and remind this and kind of mash them together because I'm going to move on to name now. Name is a distinctive characterization in words by which one is known and distinguished from others. And description or abbreviation is not the equivalent of a name. All right, got it? That's pretty much to be expected. A distinctive characterization in words by which one is known and distinguished from others. Okay, so now let me give you my summary in accordance with the etymologies and the definitions. So my summary of legal name, check this out. The distinct characterization of one, written in words, by which one becomes known, okay, presumed to infer, there's that presumption, presumed to infer lawful charge on one who may not be cognizant, because that characterization or legal name was constructed, remember, constructed, and not established by actual proof concerning claims against one. Let's say a debtor who participated in sales and services offered. Why did I put that on there? I add a little bit more on there. You're going to see why. Because what is the purpose of a Social Security card? Why are you applying for one? We'll get to that. All right. So you'll just have to rewind some of this, because if I keep going over and reiterate the same thing, this video will be so long and you wouldn't even stay and watch it anyways. So what is alleged in the legal name? Why do they want the legal name? Why do they want proof of your identity in the legal name? What is the legal name up to? How about that you are a player in the game of accounting, perhaps? How about that you are fully aware, of the rules to the game? Okay, the Social Security Administration, what is it really about? That you are going to settle all accounts receivable? Okay, let's keep moving. That you are complicit and in agreement that you waive your natural rights? That you are in allegiance with the corporate structure? Okay, if per se this whole stylized writing of the name, the all capital names is true, all right, then essentially that all caps name is basically saying that you're a corporation. Okay, so what is the name, the legal name, alleging? That you are these things that I just listed here, that you are in allegiance with a corporate structure? All right, so check this out. I think I may be repeating myself, but the etymology of legal, yeah, the leg part of legal being collections, the all part being the act of collections. Okay, so the legal name is the inference that you are a member of this corporate structure, quite possibly. And this is the means by which they can participate with you in commerce, in trade, in collections. All right, so you just heard the word collections, and that's why when I was giving you my summary of legal name, I added that part at the end of the paragraph concerning claims against one, a debtor, who participated in sales and services, sales and services offered. All right, because it's kind of looking like this has to do more with collections, because legal means the act of collections in the etymology of the word, right? So this could pertain to collections. So what is collections? I'm going to just follow my ladder of logic. I'll get you to the end of it here. So collections, pursuing payments of debts owed by individuals or businesses. In other words, accounts receivable. Okay, so a claim against a debtor usually arises from sales or services. There it is again, sales and services rendered, though not necessarily due or past due. Okay, so that's why the legal name quite possibly is attached to the Social Security number. Okay, the legal name is, remember, a construction. That's what it said about legal. It's a construction. Okay, and so it's okay. So moving on, it's even in the definition of legal, as we established, presumed by the courts as the inference or imputation of law as a matter of construction, rather than established by actual proof. All right, so constructed with or without you being cognizant. So you might not even know the game or what's happening, but remember, what are the things that the legal name is alleging? And are you enjoining yourself to them by submitting these things that the SSA, the Social Security Administration, are requiring in order to be eligible for the card? So check this out. Probably getting ahead of myself, but all they needed, and this is where I'm coming from. All they needed was for you to provide the evidence, remember, of the identity in the legal name. You see? All right. So ironically, the three things stated in the SS5 form, which can be used to prove that identity in the legal name, are, number one, this is what it says on the SS5 form, the driver's license. That's number one. The passport, that's number two. And the non-driver's license ID. Okay, these three things they list that you can use as that proof of identity in the legal name. All right, check this out. What do they all have in common? That's what we have to ask, because those qualify you to apply for this Social Security card, right? So is it the signature? Do you have to sign the driver's license, passport application, the non-driver ID? Do you have to sign your personal IDs? They all have that in common, right? How powerful is your signature? When you go to write a check, do you have to authorize that? Okay, you have to do that. All right. When you apply for a credit card, don't you have to sign? All right. So perhaps the Social Security Administration is saying that we need proof of your identity in the legal name because of the fact that you've already signed or confirmed or attested to these other documents. And so when you bring that into us, that will further confirm, all right, that your identity is in that legal name. All right, so check this out. What does it mean to sign, or a signature? What does it mean to sign? Look at this. See if you can point out the words in here that you've heard already previous in this deliberation, if you will. So check it out. To affix one's name to a writing or instrument for the purpose of authenticating or executing it, or to give it effect as one's act. To attach a name or cause it to be attached to a writing by any of the known methods of impressing a name on paper. To affix a signature to ratify by hand or seal. To subscribe in one's own handwriting. To make any mark as upon a document in token of knowledge, approval, acceptance, obligation. Now, how are you made obligated or an obligor to something? Through contract, through your signature. Okay? Check it out. The Social Security Administration, through this application, the SS5 form, what there is saying that you can get a SS card, a Social Security card, but you have to prove your identity in your legal name by using one of those three instruments, the driver's license, passport, or non-driver's ID, right? All right, why? Why does that prove your identity in your legal name? Because the legal name, that construction, that presumption, that legal construction is stylized after the same manner that, as they said, will be inevitably put on that Social Security card. See? Notice your driver's license. Take a look at it. Reach in your pocket there, in your wallet, and take a look at your driver's license. What style is your name written in? Is it all caps? All right, so check it out. That's the way that it's going to also be put on that Social Security card. All right, so that's how they're looking to prove your identity in the legal name. All right, so check it out. All right, so the all caps I have here, I've heard people refer to it as dog Latin, the language of the dead, the corporation stylized writing. Okay, there's a lot of different things out there in YouTube land that people are saying. It might all be true, but I really, that's not my thing right now. This is my study, my research, and I'm putting it out there to you. You can do with it what you will. Okay, so when you come to the Social Security Administration, they say, look, his driver's license is in all capital. Dog Latin, language of the dead, corporate stylized writing. Okay? And his signature is on there too. All right, so you bring that driver's license, they look at it and say, look at the style. Oh, I lost my recording. One moment. Oh boy. Well, hopefully I can get it back. I lost my recording somehow. But anyways, yeah, they're saying look at his driver's license that he's presenting as evidence. Remember, it's evidence of identity in the legal name. So now you're looking on the driver's license, okay, and this is what you're presenting as proof. And so they see the stylized way that the name is on there, all capital, okay, John Henry Doe, and then they see your signature, which is an attestation. We just established that. Okay, it's you saying that this is correct. And in fact, when you go to the DMV, they usually ask you, look on this card, make sure everything is correct before you sign it. Isn't that what they say? Right, because now you're attesting to everything that's on there. All right, so moving on. The scripture says that every word is established in the mouth of 2 or 3 witnesses, right? That's what it says. Is there any wonder why the Social Security Administration is requiring 3 witnesses? Okay, or 1 of 3? I think they ask for 2 of these type, okay, to prove your identity in your legal name. Okay, I pretty much believe personally that they are looking to build a strong presumptive case against you. All right, so that if you challenge anything, they can bring up these 3 witnesses and say, your signature's here. You said the stylized way of writing is the way that this is you, this is your name, and your picture is there too, right? So they're building a case. So they can come later and say, this is your signature, as I said. All right, and you used it as proof on this driver's license. You used this driver's license, this passport, this non-driver's ID. You used it as proof of identity. Of identity in the legal name. All right, in order to attain this Social Security card. So really, they have you in the trifecta. Okay, they have the Social Security card, driver's license, and the birth certificate too, as well as the non-driver's ID. Okay, and what is the purpose of the Social Security card? I think I mentioned this before. To attain a benefit, the Social Security Administration, the Social Security card, you pay taxes. It's a tax, okay, and as well as I don't think that there's going to be much benefit left for us, but some people have collected Social Security benefits. So the card is for the number and everything is for benefit. So to attain a benefit. They also in the Social Security Administration, they get a benefit because it becomes an asset on their books, right? It's commerce and trade, that number, that Social Security card. Because, well, I don't want to get ahead of myself. Okay, so them being a corporation, the Social Security Administration, they're a corporation. They can't trade with a man or woman, because the law states, and I wish I had it with me, that a corporation, it really doesn't have any dealings with a man or woman. It can only deal with other corporations. All right, so they can't trade or contract with a man, even without a representative. In other words, so you need two corporations in order to contract, but they can contract with other corporations. All right, they needed to make us. This is my opinion. I believe they needed to make us into corporations to have standing to collect. Okay, to add to their books, to add us to their books as assets. All right, they're kind of like debt collectors. All right, everything needs a social security number to do business, trade, etc. Everyone in business, in some type of business, is asking for your social security number. In credit cards, loans, everybody wants your social security number so they can come and collect. See, they can't collect without a social security card number. I've done research into the child support system. One of the requirements in order to establish paternity, and collect and enforce child support, in the manual, look it up, the Federal Manual of Child Support, one of the criteria that they must have in order to proceed is the social security number. So it's like an asset on the books, and it's accounts receivable. So they go after what they call non-custodial parent for funds. Okay, so almost to the end here, a few more points. So they said they want the proof of identity, okay, in the legal name. Well, so what is identity? Here's identity. According to Black's Law Dictionary, it's sameness. The fact that a subject, person, or thing before a court is the same as it is represented, claimed, or charged to be. That's identity, sameness. All right, so what is identification? Proof of identity, right? The proving that a person, subject, or article before the court is the very same that he or it is alleged, charged, or reputed to be. So what is an identification card? So we went from identification to identification card. So identification card is a card proving that a person, subject, or article before the court is the very same that he or it is alleged, charged, or reputed to be. Okay? Before I go further, look at this right here. On the SS5 form, it also says that the Social Security, on the Social Security card application, the SS5, quote, we cannot accept a birth certificate, a hospital souvenir birth certificate, Social Security card stub, or Social Security record as evidence of identity. Well, why? Logically, it's because, did you ever sign your birth certificate? No, your mom or dad did. So there's no attestation by you of legal age, age of majority they call it, being 18 or 21, able to handle your own affairs. You never signed that birth certificate. So you can't even use your birth certificate as identification to prove identity in the legal name. You can't do it. Okay, you didn't sign a contract. Your parents did. Your mom or dad did. Okay, so consider the difference between a given name and a legal name. I plan to go into that, but this has gone on long enough, I think. So what do you think? I got more I could go into, but a synopsis of the thing is, in my opinion, I think there's more than they put forward. There's more going on behind the doors. I mean, a Social Security card is on everything, as I previously stated. You need that Social Security to do any type of business, trade, commerce. You can't open a bank account. Well, they don't want you to open a bank account. I've heard that some people are actually being successful in opening bank accounts without the Social Security card because they figured out the common law ways of doing things. So maybe I'll cross that bridge when I come to it. But for right now, it just seems like the wording, definitely written by a lawyer or an attorney, we want proof of identity in the legal name. It's not proof of identity. It ain't anything. Won't settle the matter for the Social Security Administration. They want proof of identity in the legal name. They want you to attest to being the legal name. That's essentially what's going on. And so they need one of these three things, and with your signature on there, your picture on there, and now it's stylized, all caps name, whether it's Dog Latin, language of the dead, capitis diminutio maximus, the maximum loss of status by a slave, whatever it is, there's something more going on there. And this is my presentation of what I think is going on. So let me know what you think. Go ahead and like, subscribe, and share. I welcome comments, respectful comments, and yeah, stay tuned. Maybe I'll do a part 3, or we can further elaborate. All right, this is Courtney with KnowledgeWell Media, and I'm signing off. Thanks for paying attention and for coming to the site or the channel. Thank you. Bye.